the ever-changing weather around the world, ever-diverse terrain and roads across the world. With Kumho Tyre that has conquered all, there is no road you cannot go. Go with Kumho. Kumho Tyre.
I ain't playing weak, no, I'm playing for keeps. Can't stop me, I'm a legend. I run with the crew that's making the moves. Get out of the way, we coming through. We got this, never stopping, and we won't lose. No, we can't lose. Yeah! Are you ready? Yeah! We are the legends. We are the legends. Yeah! Are you ready? We are the legends. We are the legends.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a massive night of racing here at Sandown here in the heart of Victoria. It is my second local circuit on iRacing and my second of the season. Super excited here, of course. If you're not used to or you don't know where Sandown is, well, it's in the heart of the Dandenong, Springvale, and of course Sandown area here in Victoria. I'm your commentator Hamish Munro, here tonight for the Kumho Tyres V8 Veterans Season 15. It's round 7, and we are here for the split to broadcast. Just a massive apologies that we could not go live last night. Fortunately, technical difficulties got in the way of that. But tonight, we are live. We are able to go racing. Welcome to everyone in the chat, to Will Munro, Stephen Murray, Anita Buckland, and Mark Houghton. Great to have you all here. Great to have you all here on a Monday night as well to start out our week. The day after Mother's Day, the night after Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day for yesterday to all the mums out there. And yeah, it's great to be here. So we're just here for the 5 minutes of the 5-minute warm-up. So we got about 4.5 minutes left of that. So we can have a little bit of a chat about tonight's race and about Sandown as a circuit itself. Of course, it is well known for supercars. I mean, there's a long history of supercars racing here at Sandown, but there's other racing that happens here, of course, as well, in TCRs and cup cars and even production cars as well. Even some open wheelers race around Sandown from time to time too. So you know, it's a fantastic circuit. It's one of my favourite to drive on. I did a couple of laps earlier in the week in one of Anita and Gary Buckland's sessions with my dad. Managed to get down to a 108, which I was pretty proud of. But it, you know, it was great. You know, great little session, great little track, and from what I've heard, we could be in for quite an exciting race tonight here in terms of split to action that we are used to as well. Great to have Craig Healy in the chat tonight too, and great to have all 18 people watching. If you're not already, hop into the chat, please have a chat to me throughout tonight's race, because we could be on for an absolutely wild one. We will just quickly bring up the qualifying results though. That happened tonight. So Todd Duggan, who was winner, he was the winner last time out, starts from pole here tonight. Just alongside him though is Steve Grumley. So someone who is hoping to put a real challenge on for the championship. Of course, Steve is a 3-time winner this season, so he's done incredibly well throughout the whole season up to this stage, as we have Matt Monday in the chat as well. Great to have you here, Matt. And speaking of Matt Monday, starting from P3 for Fishy Motorsports as well. So, there's a lot of moving parts in this sort of starting grid. We have Marty Atkins there in P4 as well. And I finally fixed his livery. So I realized that I had to actually just delete all of my files, all my livery files for the Commodore, and then just re-download them, and that's what fixed it. So we finally got that sorted. Matt McMillan is in P5 today, starting just ahead of Darren Goosey for Old Mate and Sons. And then we have Robbie Griffiths starting at a P7, who has had an incredible championship so far. He is in the fight for this championship with Steve Lanyon, and I don't think he's going to be giving up any time soon. Steve Lanyon or Steve Grumley? Now I can't remember. I think it's... My mind is gone already. He's in the fight for the championship. And then we have Lorne McKee just in behind, Type N Esports in P8. Woman saying, I hope you studied the penalties for this race, Haim, so you can be on the naughty ones at the right time. Bruce gave me a little cheat sheet, so we'll be keeping an eye out. Steve Lanyon down in P9, and then Shannon McMillan will make up the top 10 for this race. Mark Houghton will start out of P11 today, just ahead of Richard Barella, with Andrew Hoffman in behind in P13. P14 today goes to James Boardman, just ahead of Peter Latham there in P15, and then Mario Reali will start out of P16 for Hypersonic Racing. Damien Cross will start today's race at a P17, so he's done very well to get into that sort of spot there, and then Marty Hansen will start out of P18. For today's race. Then P19 we have Craig Healy, and then Scott Weston P20. And look at the spread. The top 20 cars are separated by just about 9/10 of a second. So very, very close times. Could be on for some very close racing. But we see there Gary Buckland will start at a P21. Just behind him is Will Munro from Infinity Motorsport, who's just ahead of Daniel Sheriffs in P23. Robert Crow will start at a P24, just ahead of Mark Peck in P25, with Mark Dial at a P26. And apparently, from what I saw during the Split 3 race, Mark had a couple of things to say about wanting to have a chat to me. Don't know if that's going to happen, to be honest, but if Dial can get on the podium, then he can get on the broadcast, because that's who we give the opportunities to talk to in Split 2, is people who finish on the podium, and they get to have a chat to me after the race. Simon Farrington will start at a P27 today, just ahead of Reg James. And then P29 going to Ed Cullen, just ahead of Brett Taylor in P30. Jason Chin will start at a P31, just ahead of Jeremy Bush in P32. Jason McCartan will start at a P33 today. We'll see what he can do from so far back in the field. We know he's a one to really climb up the order when he can. And just ahead of Todd Duggan there in P34. Michael Hayes will start out of P35 today, and that will round out the grid, as they are just ahead of our race control in Greg Favell and Bruce McLeod. Massive thank you goes out to them for doing the race control for us, but we will await the cars to get onto the grid here today. We'll wait to go racing around Sandown. What a circuit it is. So we'll get the track map up. Of course, as we always do, we have the driver numbers on the track map, because it lets you see where those drivers are on track. I don't do positions because sometimes it's a little bit harder to read. Some people get confused, so just a little bit easier to do the actual drivers numbers there for that one. So we will await for them to start revving the engines, and we will await for them to get ready to go racing here, as we wait the rest of the field to get onto the grid. So we wait for Matt McMillan, Robbie Griffiths, Andrew Hoffman, James Baldwin, Peter Latham, Mario Reali, Gary Buckland, Robert Crow, Jason Chin, and Michael Hayes to all grid up. So then we can go racing here at Sandown. Of course, as I mentioned, I was told it's supposed to be a bit of a wild and woolly one. The cheat sheet is very long, so we could be in for some really quite enjoyable action here. I mean, Sandown can always bring some fantastic racing when it comes, to passes and moves that are happening all around the circuit, but also just some moments that can happen on track with cars going off, cars going here, there, everywhere. So we could be in for an absolutely wild one here tonight around, one of my favourite tracks, not just in Australia, but in the world. So we can see Grumley there starting at a P2, and it is Grumley who is in the fight for the championship with Griffiths, so it wasn't Lanyon. Lanyon is his teammate, of course. So we await them to rev up these engines to get ready to go racing, as we await Matt McMillan to get onto the grid. So once he joins, we should be ready to go. Up to 22 people watching now. Absolutely fantastic to have you all here. Remember, if you want to get more people to see your race, see you have a go, then be sure to tell people. And we're off the start. I've just completely missed it apparently, but look at the cars spread all over the track, and what a run here from Grumley to turn one, and there's been contact already. I believe that might have been Darren Goosey off the circuit there in the Taipan car. You can see, I think Will Munro or James Boardman's been involved in behind as well. No, it wasn't Boardman. I think it was, might have been Crow. But this has been a massive start already. Some drivers to the back of the field, and someone's already been spun round. It's one of the Taipan cars. So I'm unsure here what's happened. So let's get the car sounds up and running. It wasn't working for me there for a second, but we're on here with Mark Dial trying to chase down Marty Atkins at the moment off the start, and well, that was a wild start indeed, ladies and gentlemen. But we will head back up the front. Grumley will lead Todd Duggan on to lap 2 here at Sandown. Already, there has been moments. I believe the safety car might be out on track. Yeah, someone's parked up on the side of the road, so that's Simon Farrington, and here comes the safety car. So we are now under safety car here. So we've only made it 1 lap under racing conditions, and we're already behind the Parramatta Izuzu safety car here at Sandown. So could this be a bit of a tail of the tape a little bit? Could this be a little bit of a, letting us know what this race is going to be like? 1 lap in, we're on safety car. I mean, I know I say that a lot about some tracks that have sort of mentioned that in the past of, about like with Long Beach and Belle Isle, that, you can be in for a lot of safety cars. But even with those races, we found out it's really only the first half of the race that it happens, and then people start to calm down a little bit, and kind of, the red mist goes away. Scott Weston, welcome into the chat as well. Great to have you tuning in live from, I want to say you're from WA, Scott, but I might be wrong. You correct me if you like. Mark, so it was you who got turned off on, was it at turn 4? Exeter turn 4? That was you that was turned around, Mark? So we await these guys to come all the way around, and we await Farrington to get his toe to be able to go back to the pits. Okay, yep, all right. So confirmed there from Houghton that it was him that was turned round on the Exeter turn 4. An unfortunate start, but I mean, from the looks of it and the carnage that has already ensued, Mark, if you were able to keep this clean, you should be able to work your way through the field. I mean, we've seen you do it before when there's been carnage. I think it was Road America last season. You went to the back of the field and then made your way back up to the front and took the win. So it's not out of your wheelhouse to be able to do that. But, we will have a couple of laps here under safety car. Car 22 back out on track, which is Matt McMillan. So he was involved as well. So we now await the Parramatta Izuzu safety car to let the people go, to let him go racing. Ben Anthony saying, how's Marty's paint this week? Let's check it out, Ben, because I did mention earlier it has actually been fixed. I got to see where he is. There it is. He has the actual paint. I just got to change his actual team name, which I thought I did. So maybe that actually just didn't work. Let me just double check it for you. Yeah, I did change it. I changed it underneath my SDK overrides. It just hasn't actually overridden his team name, unfortunately. What if I do this? Nah. Okay. He might actually have to change his info on SDK. Oh, yeah. Scott, yeah. WA. Very good. So, yeah. Very good to have you here at, 6:45 in the evening, your time. So, it's, Good to have some, I don't want to say fresh faces in watching it, but I know that you like to watch it sometimes on the Saturday when it was on a Friday. You used to like watching it on a Saturday and catch up during a sort of a post broadcast viewing. But yeah, so yeah, Marty's paint has been fixed for all the Taipan drivers out there. So now I can stop getting hounded about him having an Erebus livery, because now he has the Taipan livery on his car, which is good to see. So we wait for the safety car to come in. So off that start, you know, we've done 2 laps under safety car. This is the current lay of the land for the top 10. So Grumley has led the way. It leads the way now. So he's jumped Duggan off the start and is now up into P1. So Duggan's going to have to put the pressure on him to really make sure he just does not run away with this thing. Duggan is in P2 as the safety car is now rolling away. Monday's still in P3, so it's a good start from him. Griffiths is up 3 spots, up into P4. Lanyon and McMillan in 5th and 6th, up 4 spots. Goosey's down 1 in P7. Barella in P8. P9, Latham and Hoffman makes up the 10. We're waiting now to go on to the restart. When will Grumley go? He's backing them all up and he's gone. And there's been a big bingle off the start. A bit of a rear end there. I think Lanyon might have been involved. He held them up a little bit there, but there was a bit of a moment. Let's see how the rear of the field looks coming through. We got Scott Weston rolling in behind his teammate. They look to be a little bit tidy at the moment. Not too bad. See Munro at the moment in a bit of a Taipan GMK Logistics sandwich right now. But we will head back up the front and look at Duggan. He's putting the pressure right on Grumley. Down in towards Dandenong Road they come. Massive under brakes. You see him run out wide and then cut in and get a nice turn. And if you can cross the curb there on the inside, really helps keep the car nice and stable. But look at the pressure from Duggan. He knows he needs to do this, because if he lets off, Grumley will walk away. Let's bring up our Play One Sim Gear battle box in the bottom corner, so you can see the sort of gaps that we're talking about at the moment. And look at Monday, though. He's not letting these boys run away either. He wants to stay in this fight. He's got his teammate, Robbie Griffiths, just in behind, who's in the fight for the championship. So you have to wonder if maybe Monday will let Robbie pass to put the pressure on the front boys, or if they're just going to work together for the majority of the race and just stick in together up until the end. So look at this. Duggan poking the nose as they come through the fast left-hander. It's almost like a roller coaster down to Dandenong Road. Jack was saying finally got it working after a few weeks. Hey, it worked last week, thank you. Alright, Jack was, it worked last week. It was just yesterday, it didn't want to work. But we come on now to lap 6. And we await to see when Duggan can make a move. I think Lanyon there was having a bit of a peek in behind. See him just with Darren Goosey at the moment. These guys battling hard. Lanyon rolling around in his ZB Ute at the moment. Got no boot, got no rear wing on that thing. See what kind of run Goosey might be able to get on him with the toe here down the straight. Of course, the next corner's had some absolutely wild moments happen in the past. I remember, I think it was Todd Hazelwood when he rolled the BJR car and just, it lost about 95% of its panels into that wall on the right-hand side. See him here just rolling on through, following each other quite nicely at the bottom of the hill, doing very well. As they roll around one more time to continue on. Let's check out how some people are doing towards the back of the field. Scott Weston is a man on a mission right now. He is making up spots left, right, and centre. Damien Cross into the pits. They're very quiet, are they? Let's see if we can turn them up a little bit. Is that a bit better? Hopefully that's a bit better. Oh, look at Weston. He is a man on a charge right now. He's now back up to where he started this race. He had dropped a couple of spots off the start. And now he is just trying to do a little bit of damage control. He follows Mark Dial at the moment, who's currently up 7 spots. But I believe the biggest mover in this race is Jason McCartan. He's currently up 10 positions in this race. So, you know, we mentioned it many a time, the performance he had at Phillip Island last season. And he is one for showing off a little bit when he makes his way through the field. And he's got some pace about him. Oh, big moment from Reg James. Down at the bottom of the hill. He's done well to pull that up there. Of course, Reg was the Split 3 champion last season. Looks to be in a position to stay in Split 2 if he can keep his pace up in pre-qualifying at the end of the season. That's Scott Weston there. Just ran a little bit wide. He's lost out a couple of spots now. He's lost out a spot there to James and to Mark Peck. And he's under pressure from McCartan in behind. Oh, really just unstable under brakes. McCartan has to give up the spot to his teammate Sheriffs. And now Jason Chin looks to put the pressure on him as well. Look at the big battle pack that is forming right now around these guys. Oh, that was Brett Taylor getting a bit of a knock there from Jason Chin in behind. So these guys they're going for sheep stations at the moment. They are racing hard and going for gold right now. As I think someone's gone off the track up here. Number 7. Oh, someone's on the wall. It's Steve Lanyon. That's huge. I saw him drop a couple of spots, but that is massive. He's just mounted the wall, and this should mean another safety car because he will need to tow. So, Riali, Hoffman, and Dial all into the pits now. We'll head back up the front to Grumley and Duggan as we await the safety car to pick them up, because there's no way Lanyon's getting off that metal barrier there on the left-hand side of the circuit, right-hand side of screen as they come through and out. It's the left-hand side of screen. But that is a shame for him today. He had some good pace about him. He had a very good position in the top 10. He's just going to have to hope he is able to claw something back from this, being that he will now be a couple of laps down as the safety car, I don't think is back on track yet. So he could be in a little bit of trouble here, but we will wait and see to what happens. But the leaders will come down the main straight now. I think the safety car might have actually had to wait for people to come out of the pits who were in the pits, possibly. No, he's coming out now. So Bruce McLeod will pick up... Oh, no, it's Greg Favell on track. So Greg Favell will pick up Grumley and the rest of the field. Perfect timing from him there to come out of the pits. As you see everyone jumping in behind. McKee, Hansen, Healy, Atkins, all in the pits now. Will saying I think he was there for 3 or 4 laps from memory. Yeah, so that's not good for him, you know, having to sit there for that long waiting for a tow. And, you know, then you got to do the tow time. Then you also got to do the repairs. He's going to go maybe 6 or 7 laps down on the whole field once he comes into the pits. So you could argue his race is over at this stage in terms of wanting to go for a top 10 finish. Now, maybe with a couple of little moments here or there, you know, if he's able to build up some spots, then maybe he could get into the top 30 or maybe even the top 25. But it's going to be a tough day at the office for him from here on out. So Michael Hayes is still in the pits. Atkins is back out. We await. See him there. Look at the car. It's just a real shame for him. I mean, you know, he looks like he's tried to show off his suspension movement there, and the car's just gotten stuck. Like, he's trying to show how much it flexes. But for now, let's just run through the lay of the land, run through the field as to where everyone is. So Simon Farrington, who was involved in that lap 1 incident is back down in P34 at the moment. He's not too far back on the field. He's only a lap down, so he may actually get a wave around here and actually then get back into the fight and try and push his way through. Mick Clifton saying he's trying to get on the horse track. He is. Yeah, he's just trying to do donuts on the grass. Farrington's pulled up there, so he's letting people pass now, which is interesting. Damien Cross, who doesn't have his team name for some reason or his livery this week. Normally a Century Motorsports driver in the KFC machine. Maybe he's left Century, I'm not sure, because he doesn't actually have that livery on his car. And I have reloaded my liveries, so it should be all correct. But he's currently down in P33. Matt McMillan is in P32. He gets his wave around now, so that's good for him. Jason Chin is the last driver on the lead lap at the moment in P31, with Michael Hayes from Pace Syndicate just ahead of him there. Todd Martin's now in the pits as well for locked on for Peaky's Performance. So he's now down in P31. Michael Hayes, as mentioned, P29 now, just behind Jeremy Bush for Locked On Racing. Ed Cullen at the moment is in P27 there for Shadow Racing in the Racecraft machine. Oh, yep, let's bring that up for you, Mark. We'll do that. Right, let's have a look. So there is the pit stop laps for the top 10. They have not pitted yet. We'll go... Oh, I've got to see... Let me just see which people have actually pitted. I could also run through it for you. This might be too big, but we'll see. Yeah, it is way too big. But there you go. So that is where people have stopped and when they've stopped and where they are currently on track. So I'll leave that up for now. We'll just go back up at the front of the field for the moment. We'll run through the field again a bit soon. But just thought, you know, I'll just see. Let me just see if I do this. Oh, that's slightly better. Yeah, that's alright. We'll do that. So, yeah. So, P17 is the earliest car to pit. That is Mario Reali at this stage. No one above them has pit. The McLeod guy with the Master Zero Stop strat. Hey, that is a masterful play, I tell you what. So yeah, and then obviously Greg Favell is not counted because he is the safety car driver, Parramatta Izuzu safety car driver. So there you go. That's where everyone's pitted. That's when they've pitted. That's where they are on track at the moment. Everyone above 17th is yet to pit, at least at the time of the graphic going up. So we'll bring up our Play One Sim Gear battle box once again. I've got to remember who I was up to. Scott Weston is currently P26 of this race at the moment for Type N Sports GMK Logistics. Type N Esports, sorry. Brett Taylor at the moment is in P25 for Valve Motorsport there. So he's up 5 spots, doing very well. Marty Atkins, Type N Esports in P24. Just ahead of him is his teammate Mark Dial. Just ahead of him is his teammate Mark Houghton. And then just ahead of them is from their sister team, Craig Healy, Scott Weston's teammate just there. Marty Hansen, P20 at the moment. So it's a massive Type N Esports line right now. About 5 cars from the same team, at least the same overarching team, all hanging out together on track. Andrew Hoffman, WKMP Simsports, he's down 6 spots. So he's had a bit of a moment. Lorne McKee, P18 for Type N Esports. So Hoffman is stopping a 6-car pile-up from the Type N cars happening in behind, being that he's separating Lorne from his teammates. Mario Reali in P17 at the moment. Robert Crow in P16, but he is the bottom of the drivers who are yet to come into the pits. Daniel Sheriff in P15. Jason McCartan is currently up 19 positions in this race, but of course he is yet to pit. Mark Peck is up 12 positions in this race, and then Reg James is up 16 positions in this race. That is McCartan 14, Peck 13, James in 12th. Munro is up to P11 at the moment, but is yet to pit as well. Buckland is up to P10. James Boardman is in P9 for Infinity Motorsports. Just ahead of him is Peter Latham from Shadow Racing, running around without a rear wing or boot. So he's running around in the ZB Ute at the moment. Richard Barella is in P7. Todd Duggan has dropped some spots, so he's had a moment. And now he's down to P6. Yeah, he hasn't pit, so something's happened to him there. McMillan is now up into P5. Darren Goosey P4 as the safety car's pulling away. Robbie Griffiths in P3. Matty Monday P2. And then Steve Grumley leads the field for the restart. We will get ready to go racing once again here at Sandown. When will Grumley go? Really holding him up. And he's gone now. And he's caught Monday napping slightly as they come into turn 1. Massive brakes. Oh, runs wide does Grumley. Monday's now going to have a run into turn 2. Can he get the job done through the chicane? Just tucks in nicely in behind Steve there. What can be done as they come down the massive back straight? See the drivers just weaving in and out of the toe. They come through the top of the roller coaster down to Dandenong Road. As they make their way through, let's just check out some of the battles that are happening a little bit further back. I'm actually quite interested in this little Taipan versus Andrew Hoffman, because it's just him versus them at the moment. Yeah, look at Hoffman hoping to go around the outside. Oh, it's touch and go at the moment. These guys super tight right now. Can Hoff get a dive into turn 1? I believe during the Split 3 broadcast he was mentioning he had COVID at the moment. So well wishes go out to the Hoff. Hopefully he can get better soon, as I believe that might have been Will Munro going off wide and McKee's gone. There's been a knock. Turn 1, a massive knock there, and there is carnage ensuing. There's Hoffman off track. Oh, that was a very, very close rejoin there. Very, very close. Where's Lorne? What's happened to him? He's still going at the moment. Matt McMillan's just ahead. I'm unsure if he was involved. Steve Lanyon is just ahead. They come into Dandenong Road. There's big moves up the front. Heaps of people have jumped into the pits now. I just want to see if anything else happens here. We're officially on lap 15, but these guys are not yet crossed the line. Hoffman comes in. Okay, so Grumley has actually just stayed out. So Grumley, Peck and Sheriffs are currently the only 3 drivers to not come into the pit. So we're going to be under safety car once again, as I believe it might be Will Munro who needs a tow. It is. So he's out near the sand pit there. It's a shame he didn't end up in the sand. I could have told him to bring his bucket and spade. Oh, that's right. He blew an engine. He was too aggressive on the downshifts. Mark Houghton, huge call to pit again under second safety car from team strategist Scotty Weston. Let's see if it pays off for him here, Carton. It's a bold strategy. If you get that reference, you're a good Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller fan. So Will Munro awaiting his tow here after blowing an engine. He was showing some good pace. He was up to, I think, about P11. He'd done well up to that stage, but now everyone has just jumped into the pits. This has now put Marty Hansen in what would be provisional first place, as he has pit. The 3 drivers ahead of him have not, but it's going to depend on if there's another safety car and if these guys get another free pit stop. So a lot of possibilities coming into play right now. Do these top 3 guys just stick to the strategy? They just wait for the opportunity to come, hope that there's a safety car when their pit stop comes around, and they're able to, continue on. Matt McMillan has, he's in the pits now at the moment. Sorry. So, who's that's on the back straight? It's Lorne McKee. So he's actually had a moment and he's ended up on the grass again. And he must need a tow as well because he's just sitting there. So 2 drivers now awaiting the tow truck to come and get him. We'll have to see which one it picks up first, whether it picks up William or whether it picks up Lorne on its way round. But, wow. Wow, wow, wow. 3 safety cars in the span of 16 laps. How many more are we going to get? How many more can be caused in this race? Because the multitude of madness that we have been having throughout proceedings is like no other at this stage. So Will Munro, I believe, has been picked up by the tow truck. So Lorne McKee will await to get picked up as well to be taken back to the pits. Of course, a massive thank you to all of our viewers and sponsors out there for the channel, or for the league, I should say. Sorry, Kumho Tyres, Logitech, Player One Sim Gear, Parramatta Izuzu Ute, and Nova Simsports. Thank you all for supporting the series and supporting these drivers. We much appreciate it, and we much appreciate you guys giving these old guys an opportunity to go racing every week and have their race broadcasted as well. So it's absolutely fantastic. So Grumley leads the way. Duggan is, or he doesn't really have any pressure at the moment because his main rivals have pit. But that's being said though, everyone else has pit apart from him and the 2 guys behind him. So if he wants to pit anytime soon, which I believe what I was told was the critical lap was about lap 14, so he could get home from any point now if he pits. So there's going to be interesting plays. Because from Reg James onward down to Matt Monday, all of them pit on lap 14. So they could get home from this stage. They don't need a pit again. Everyone above them does need a pit again. So from Todd Martin up to Steve Grumley, or Todd Martin up to Marty Hansen, they will need to pit again because they did not make it to lap 14. Now, if there's more safety cars, they can do some fuel saving, then they could get to the end. But Grumley, Peck, and Sheriffs have not pit, so they will need to pit again. I don't believe the zero-stop strategy will work for them this time round. But, you know, there's a whole multitude of things that can occur between now and between the checkered flag waving in 40 laps' time. So, you know, whatever can happen can happen. But it's gonna be an incredibly exciting prospect of what can occur in the rest of this race. We've got 40 laps to go. We're only 17 in and we've already had 3 safety cars. We've seen that these guys are being aggressive. It's looking more and more like the old street circuits of old, the Belle Isle, the Long Beach, where we get where we get half a race is safety cars, the other half is everyone's calmed down now. Let's just race to the end. Will Munro saying critical was 12, but a long way to go on one set of tyres. That is correct then. Well, it doesn't matter then because my statement remains true. Reg James down to Matthew Monday, everyone can make it to the end. And Todd Martin and above have to pit again because Todd Martin pit on lap 10. Everyone else pit has either not pit or pit before lap 12. So there's a whole heap of dice to be rolled throughout proceedings, a whole heap of different chemicals to be put into the cocktail of veterans around Sandown. And look at Grumley. He's just hanging in behind Greg at the moment, not wanting to let the safety car go away anytime soon. Peck and Sheriffs know that, well, there's really no point in them hanging right in behind him because it could lead to them running up his rear end. But the safety car will now pull away. We will get ready for yet another restart here at Sandown. How long can we go racing for this time before we get one more? How long can it go? We're coming on to lap 18. Grumley leads Peck, leads Sheriffs, leads Hansen, leads Healy, leads Houghton, leads Atkins, leads Dyer, leads Taylor, leads Weston. That is the top 10. Grumley has been left a massive gap here from Peck in behind. Let's see how they go into turn one once again. What's going to happen? I'm just looking at my cheat sheet here. I'm just going to have a look back to Simon Farrington, because I think he's in a bit of a massive battle pack at the moment. Oh, he's been run wide slightly there at turn 3. So this is a massive battle pack, a heap of people in amongst each other. Faz, though, is out of sync at the moment. He's actually lapped traffic for these guys. Look at James looking to get it done here on the lapped car, remembering that Farrington will have blue flags. Can't make it too difficult for him, remember. They come down. Oh, there's been a knock. And, oh, that's a big move. Oh, look at that. Farrington in the wall. Absolutely massive. And there's absolute carnage ensuing down at Dandenong Road. Unbelievable. I think everyone's made it through. Oh, there's another contact! Once again, and I think that's Hoffman over the wall. It is. They're putting him back into the pit, so he must have gone over the wall. Unbelievable. Incredible. So, well, I'm going to assume that... Is Farrington moving again? He is. So even without his front end, he's still going. Well, Munro's still going around. I think Lanyon is as well. Okay, so I don't think we're actually going to get a safety car, although we probably should because Andrew Hoffman got sent to the Shadow Realm. But, wow. Now, that move was a little bit controversial. I know that. Okay, but and I'm going to tell you how it is right now. So, it's hard. Reg was a car on a faster lap than what Farrington was. Farrington probably should have just let him go by that stage, but it was also, Reg was being very aggressive about it, but there are a lot of things that can be weighed up in that scenario. I'd just say, you know, it's bad luck for Simon. Incredible bad luck for him to end up in the wall like that. But I think he could have just moved. You know, he had a big pack behind him. He could have just moved over and just let them all go at that stage because it's a massive gap, a massive pack of cars in behind you. So that, you know, and it doesn't matter who it is. If you're in that scenario, I know it's a bit tough, and I know stuff happens. Just a bit of a shame, but we will continue racing. Hopefully his damages aren't too long or his race isn't over, but even if it is, I'm hoping he can come back stronger next time out at Daytona. So Grumley has built up a 3.5 second gap already over Mark Peck in P2. Remembering, though, that these guys still need a pit. So, how does the strategy come into play? When will he pit? Will he just stick to his same strategy and hope that there is not a safety car around the period that he has to come into the pits? Although even if there is, he's going to be able to take advantage and get a free pit stop. But if he sticks to his current strategy plan, he'll have the fresher tyres at the end if no one else comes into the pits. And he'll still be in a pretty good position because his pace at the moment is lending itself to him to be able to build the gap and to be able to push forward and push ahead and get further up the field. He's already got a 4.2 second gap back to Mark Peck in P2. So at the pace that he is running at the moment, you know, if he gets to, you know, where his pitch stop should be, then he should have a fairly good gap to his main rivals, which I believe would be Mario Reali at this stage, because Reali has actually pitted a point where he can get home. So there are a whole heap of different factors at play, a whole heap of different opportunities that can happen, but it's the question of how will the narrative play out? You know, how will the story continue? How will the story finalize when the checkered flag is flown? I mean, anything can happen at this point. We've already seen the kind of carnage that can happen, that, you know, races can be ended in an instant. right? Someone ends up on top of the wall, someone ends up in the wall, or, you know, any other incident that's not too far in between. But it's going to be about staying consistent now. Grumley needs to get to his, what would be his critical lap, meaning the perfect time that he wants to stop to take advantage of fresher tyres at the end, and maybe a little bit of a shorter stop because he doesn't have to take as much fuel. So there are all of these little things at play, all these little background parts of lore in this narrative that we have right now for this race that are getting sold to us on a silver platter. And it is incredibly enthralling and interesting to break down of what's going to happen, because Steve's strategy is going to make or break his race at this stage. Because Reali, he needs to get him out to, as I will just quickly check what the pit lane travel time is. Oh, no, we're just looking about 46 to about 50 seconds. So, he needs to get Reali out to about a 40-odd second gap to really take advantage. The gap back to Reali, who is in P14 at the moment, is 18 seconds. And it is dropping hard. Oh, no, he's in the pack, that's why. So, the other side of the narrative is Reali, who is at the front of the pack of the cars who have come in at the right time, and now they can make it to the end, although their tyres are going to be shot by the... by the time that they're able to take advantage of when they pit, their tyres are going to be really, really worn. So he's in the pack at the moment, being held up a little bit because he doesn't have any clean air and he's within battles. It's playing into Grumley's hand, currently in P1. Because it's allowing Grumley to just drive as he does, dominate as he does, and push forward and really build up that gap back to Reali right now. So if Reali wants to make a challenge for this race, and I don't know if he knew it at this point that he was actually in contention for P2, seeing as he was sitting in P14, but he needs to try and make up the spots and get through the traffic. Otherwise, he's going to be left in the weeds by the time Grumley comes out of the pits and stays ahead of him. So these are just some of the little strategy plays that he's going to have to think about. We watch him now into turn 2. Doesn't get it done over Jason Chin. But you can see all the cars in behind as well. These guys are all battling hard. They're all putting the pressure down for Reali to get past. And someone's been spun in behind. I think that might have been Daniel Sheriffs. Was it Sheriffs and Cross maybe? Or was it Goosey? I think it might have been. It was Darren Goosey who was involved. And look at the pack swarm on him like a pack of hyenas in behind. These guys all fighting to get back up the order as they come down to Dandenong Road. These little battle packs are starting to form now. They're starting to create some absolutely fantastic racing. We got a couple of the Infinity cars involved here, of course, although Will is down 2 laps after blowing an engine. But, you know, it's Old Mate and Sons, Fishy, Shadow Racing, Pace Syndicate, Infinity Motorsport, Damien Cross in there, same as McCartan, same as Cullen. So as we look at Monday down the inside at turn 1, and he's spun Goosey. He's run wide and given him a massive knock into the grass. That would have been an unbelievable maneuver if Monday could have pulled that off then. But the curb just forcing the car out wide, and that's one of the sort of balancing acts you have to play with when coming around turn 1, or even going over any of the curbs here at Sandown. They can just rocket you out to the other side of the track and you can't turn the car in, or you can't get straightened up. It's going to be interesting what's going to happen here to Matthew, you know, due to incidents and stuff like that. But it's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on. So let's check out the little battle pack just ahead of them here. So Buckland is at the back of the pack with James Boardman just ahead of him. They've got Richard Barella as well as they come on to lap 26 now. So we'll see what could happen here as they come through turn 1. We know Boardman has pace on his day. He's down a couple of spots, but he has come into the pits, so it's going to be interesting if he can get through the field. Barella and McMillan just ahead of him. Those guys have had pace on their day as well. Same with Robbie Griffiths just in front of them. Let's just see what happens. So Barella in that orange WKMP Simsports car, and that is an absolutely gorgeous colour of orange on that WKMP car. Oh, just has to cross the curb there. That'll be a slowdown for him. Oh, and he slowed right up, and Boardman was not ready for it. So that's a massive shunt down at Dandenong Road. Very unfortunate there for Barella, but sometimes these things happen. But maybe he should have thought about the fact that you can get a slowdown there. Barella wanted to serve it. This comes in a little bit too hot, causes the incident. Bit of a shame, but it has allowed Gary Buckland past him here, who's now able to claim P19. Check out some of the other battles at the moment. Scott Weston and Jeremy Bush are following in behind Brett Taylor at the moment. So these guys are just trying to force their way through the field, just trying to, you know, make their way through. Remember, guys, if you have anything you want me to check out or talk about throughout tonight's race, please get into the chat. Let me know. Would love to have a chat to you, and of course, would love to, you know, get the banter going a little bit about some of these race proceedings so far. We've already had a handful of safety cars in this race, and many a moments have already occurred within the 28 laps. We are etching closer and closer to the halfway point of this race. It will be about halfway around this lap for Steve Grumley that we can officially say we are halfway done. But Weston just wants to try and get back in, have a good old fight, have a good scrap with Taylor just ahead of him. There's Todd Martin leading this little pack of cars in behind into turn one. Oh, a bit of a lock up there from Martin, and Jason Chin will want to take advantage now. Martin's done well though to pull it up and continued on in the Quantum Pecky's Performance Racing car. And look at the train that is forming right now. Oh, look at the flash from Riali in behind. He wants Lanyon to get out of the way. Remember, he is lap traffic right now. He will be getting the blue flag left, right, and center on his screen, telling him that there's faster guys behind. He needs to let them through. And Riali is in panic mode right now because he knows he can't get held up. He can't afford it. He's in the fight for what would be P1 of this race. So he needs to really make a push now to get through the field up towards the front. Robert Crow, where is he on my screen? Robert Crow has now gotten past Michael Hayes up to P23 there, so he's now up a spot from where he started the race. On top chat, let me check live chat. Oh no, no one else has got any live chat yet, that's alright. So, Riali's dropping spots. What's happened to Riali? He's off on the grass. Unbelievable. We click off him for a second and the hunt for the lead comes to an end. But it does mean that, oh, little old him, Todd Duggan, who is flashing those headlights, is now in provisional first place. Of course, Grumley leads the way at the moment, but Duggan is in provisional first since he has pit. He's got James in behind. What a race this would be for James. Richard Brello, no slowdown. Boardman locked up over the curb and punted me. That's interesting, Richard. I mean, I know during practice, whenever I crossed that curb, it would give me a slowdown, but I don't know. I mean, it is a shame that it happened. Yeah, I guess he was just a little bit too overzealous coming down the hill. But, you know, hopefully you can, you know, have a bit of a better ending to your race this coming week at Daytona. You see Duggan, oh, there's Riali parked up on the side of the road, so he gets past Chin. Lanyon is yet to let him pass. Of course, remember, he will have blue flags on him at the moment. But it's interesting. But lap 30, Todd Duggan, provisional first. You see the battle pack in behind. This is realistically the battle for what would be first place in this race, as Grumley is in. So Steve Grumley comes into the pits. So does Peck and so does Sheriffs. So we're actually going to keep an eye on Todd Duggan right now. because he has pit at the earliest time that you can get home from. Of course, Martin ahead of him, lap 10. We've had a couple of safety cars. Maybe he's actually saved enough fuel to get through, but the question is, will Duggan get past Grumley? And he does. So Duggan has now taken provisional first place in this race at this stage. Will he pit again for new tyres or not? That is the question. We know he can get home from here. We know he has the pace to keep the gap. And I think if we are under Parramatta Izuzu Ute safety car, so that could not have come at a better time for Steve Grumley. But it does mean he has now actually dropped some spots. So it's going to be a fight back for him a little bit here. He's got about 8 cars ahead of him who've all pit, or 7 cars ahead of him who've all pit. So, you know, it's going to be whether he can contest and get through the field. We know he has pace. It's whether he can keep that car nice and tidy throughout the rest of this race. I did not mean to rhyme that then, I promise. But we will have to wait and see. So, lap 31. We're past the halfway point. This is the lay of the land at the moment, just to give everyone a realization of the overarching narrative we now have at play. The top 9 cars in this race, although for argument's sake we'll actually say the top 8 cars because I'm unsure about 9th place at the moment, but Marty Hansen, Mark Houghton, Marty Atkins as Houghton comes back in. Does he come back in? I thought he was. It might have just seen he went a bit wide on exit or something like that. So, Hansen, Houghton, Atkins, Healy, Dial, Taylor, Weston, and Bush will all need to pit again. They all pit on lap 8. And I think even with the safety cars, they actually haven't had enough opportunity to save fuel up until this point. But their tyres will also be absolutely screaming to, you know, change them over. Tom Martin is in a very similar position, but he pit on lap 10. So he's actually in a better position fuel-wise than these guys because he might have actually been able to save enough fuel by this stage under the safety car that he can actually make it home from where he is. If he can, he is in provisional first place right now. If he can't, then the provisional first place, surprise, surprise, is Todd Duggan. Provisional second at the moment is Robbie Griffiths. Provisional third is Gary Buckland. Provisional fourth, James Boardman. Now, we know that Boardman had a bit of a moment before. Now, you see my cheat sheet here. I don't know. It doesn't actually tell me what incident outcome he got. I just know the type in the notes. So maybe he got a drive-through or something. I'm unsure. And whether he served that or not, I don't know. So, you know, these are the questions I'm sure will be answered throughout this race, or it could be answered in the chat. If you guys know more info about it than me, it'd be good. Mark Houghton saying, look at that Taipan train, baby. What a gorgeous sight. Marty Atkins, I was clutching it big time, saving fuel. Scott Weston, I could have done with clutching and saving too, but didn't think about it at the time. It's a big Taipan train. I mentioned it earlier. It was like, well, it would have been 6 cars if it wasn't for Andrew Hoffman splitting you guys from Lorne McKee. But it's like 5 Taipan cars right now in the top 5. 4 of them are Taipan Esports cars. The other one is a Taipan GMK Logistics car. So it's you know, Blacktown Mazda having a real good amount of promotion right now. So I'm sure they're happy with this. Yeah, all right. Will Munro saying he thinks Boardman gets a drive-through. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. So the safety car will now pull away. We will go racing once again. Once again, thanks to Parramatta Izuzu Ute for sponsoring the safety car periods of this race. So Hansen goes early. He goes as soon as he exits the final corner. It's a Taipan Esports top 5 at the moment, but once again, these guys will likely need to pit again. There are, I believe, 6 of them. Yeah, I think there's 6 of them in the top 10 right now. But look at the gap that Hansen's already pulled out to Houghton in P2 right now. It's absolutely crazy what can happen when you run about 10 entries in the same series. It's almost becoming a little bit of Taipan, WKMP, and then Old Mate and Sons that are the majority of entries in the vet series, which is good to see because it leads to more drivers coming in here. Mark saying knew when Marty was going and still missed it. Hey, I mean, I know in one of the other race series I broadcast, there's a team that the last couple of weeks they've actually been in like the top 2 on the restarts, and they've been in Discord together, and they tell each other, the leader says, right, this is when I'm going, you need to go when I go, right? And so they just played off their like 3, 2, 1, go, and then they all go at the same time, and then it leaves the other guy hanging, you know, who's in that position. So we continue on. We might just go back and check through the field a little bit right now. Let's see how Jason McCartan's doing. Jason McCartan and Michael Hayes right now. Oh, McCartan catches the curb, and I think I might have knocked Hayes a little bit there into turn 1. Oh, that was close. I think they might have both just been involved separately, maybe. Unsure. No, that was their incident, so that is unfortunate for both of them. I was going to say Michael Hayes was 20 spots up, but he is actually now 18 positions up from where he started this race. McCartan is 15 positions up in this race so far. Remembering that everyone in the top 9 will likely need to pit once again, unless there is another safety car. But remembering that Grumley pit on lap 30, he's already made up a couple of spots over Cross, Hayes, and McCartan now. So he is pushing back through the field. Remember, he has the fresher tyres over the next 5 cars ahead of him. And he's had great pace over the course of the season. So what will be the telltale narrative of this one? If there is another safety car, it'll play into the hands of the top 10. Because they'll be able to come into the pits, get new tyres, and make it to the end. And they're going to be in a better position for it. If not, you know, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it's incredible, though. I mean, Mark, you were spun round lap 1 at turn 4, where we are right now. And you're back up to P2. You know, so you've done well. See what happens when you work together and you just keep going? You know, you come back up here. This would have looked really awkward if all these Taipan guys were together and Marty's car was still the Erebus car. I will admit that. So I'm glad I got that fixed for you, and for myself, and for the broadcast. So we will now continue on to lap 36. Let's just check back through the field at the moment. Will Munro is down on the field just a little bit right now. Coming on to lap 33 for himself. So he's about a lap down. He needs a safety car to get his lap back. Daniel Sheriffs is a bit up the road from him in P28. I believe Steve Lanyon is back out on track. He's in P30. Riali's in the pits. Lon McKee is now back out on track as well. And I believe everyone else is in the pits. So Farrington, Hoffman are in the pits. Matt McMillan not here. So Daniel Sheriffs, and then Reg James, who he's been involved in something. I think he's pit again. So he pit on lap 30. So he came in lap 30. Lap 25 was Darren Goosey who came in. So he's currently in P26 at the moment. Robert Crow in P25 right now. For Infinity Motorsports, doing pretty well at the moment. He's down he is down a spot on where he started the race, but he can make it to the end from here on fuel and tyres. So just about mitigating the mistakes right now and just picking his way through the field. Barella, P24. We saw the moment that happened as McMillan is around there at Dandenong Road in the sand. So that's a shame for him. So have to keep on going at the moment. So yeah, Chin was involved too. Then there's Crow, Barella, Cullen at the start of this train for Shadow Racing. Mark Peck just up the road from them. Matty Monday as well, who started in P3. He's down quite a few spots right now, but anything could happen in this race for the upcoming 20 odd laps that we have until the end. Jason McCartan as well in P18 right now with Michael Hayes just ahead of him. That is Will Munro just ahead, just still circulating around. Damien Cross, P16 right now in the 555 Mustang. The front of the car looking very sad at the moment. Then Steve Grumley, as mentioned, was the leader of this race, led the majority of it, but through to safety car shenanigans and him just sticking to his strategy, he's down the order a little bit, but trying to fight back. Peter Latham just ahead of him right now in P14 with James Boardman just ahead of him there in P13. Gary Buckland at the moment is on provisional podium at the moment, just behind Robbie Griffiths from Fishy Motorsport, and then Todd Duggan in P10. And look at the battle here. We've got Jeremy Bush just ahead in for Locked On Racing, and then Todd Martin's made up yet another spot. He's now up into P8 for Quantum Peakers Performance Racing. Brett Taylor there, Valve Motorsport, having a good little run at the moment with Scott Weston just ahead. And actually now it's a Taipan Esports top 6 as Scott Weston has now gotten past Brett. So Taipan Esports controls the top 6 spots of this race. Mark Dial just ahead. Then there's Craig Healy, Marty Atkins, and then Mark Houghton and Marty Hansen as well. Matt Monday did the fastest lap of the race that last time by a 107.34. So he's not the first man to get into the 7s during this race, but he's the fastest one to do it. Ben Anthony saying Taipan has lots of drivers because it's the team to be with. Johnny Sickton saying, but is it? And Scott Gamble saying, depends who you ask. Yeah. I mean, you just have a lot of drivers because all of you are old. That's the only thing, you know. You need some young blood in there, I guess, because if you guys ever stop doing sim racing, then the team will no longer be Ben. So, but it's good though, and it's good that you guys are around still. I mean, it's a shame for Lorne that he's not still rolling around at the moment. He's done well this season, but you guys are. Johnny Six saying banter. Could have been even worse and just said the team will die when you guys do, but no, but no, but yeah, it's good, and you know, you guys, you're a big team because you have a lot of drivers, but you know, it doesn't matter about how many you are. It matters about how good you are. So. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, you got more drivers and you can lead to more of a win. But it's looking like Mark Houghton's internet at the moment in this race, who's been blipping a little bit, just does not compare to his race ability right now. But we're on lap 40. We're 17 from the end. Will it be a Taipan Esports top 6 lockout, or will we get an assault from behind? These guys can get home, but they're tight. Oh no, these guys can't get home. Sorry, I'm wrong. These guys will need a pit again. Scott Gamble saying no, love them to beat. But seriously, good bunch of lads and drivers. Will Munro saying they're going well at the moment. Hammer, they are, but you got to remember they need to pit again, William. So the argument could be made they're only here because they pit earlier and they need to go again. They're a bit out of sync. But of course, with a safety car, they'd be right back in it because they can just sneak into the pits and get back out, in a good spot. Mark out and saying, do we? No, they're doing well. They're doing very well at this stage of this race. Although Todd Duggan is currently provisional first place. So, Hansen wants to build up this gap to take advantage and come in the pits and stay ahead of Todd. Todd is in the traffic right now. What am I saying? Do they? They do. They all pit. It says here, you guys are part of the train. You guys pit on lap 8 and 9. Now, if the safety car has come into play into the fact that you guys could actually have saved fuel by this point to get home, then you could, but your tyres are going to be really, really worn, and they're going to be really, really sore. So, lap 12 was a critical lap. You had to save 3 or 4 laps of fuel over the course of, I think it was 5 safety cars. So, I'll wait and see. If you guys can make it home from here, that'd be good. Scott Weston saying lift and coast. Mark out and saying that's correct. Yeah, see, so Will Munro saying there's been a lot of safety cars. There have been a lot of safety cars, but enough for them to save 3 or 4 laps. That is the question. Plus their tyres, you can't really save the tyre deg. It's still going to be really bad up to that stage. Steve Murray saying really good livery for Taipan. Got that going for them. They do. That Taipan livery is sick. That blue and red is... I love it. It's a great day glow red. It's really nice. Honestly, this is... I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but this is a lot better than what your old livery was. I really, really like this livery. It looks great. Fantastic. You know, it's nice and simple. And it does the job. Johnny Six saying, lift and coast is #1 strategy around a hard-to-pass track. That is very true. Scott Gamble saying, is a nice livery. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, it's somewhat of a hard-to-pass track. Of course, you can get the toe down the straight. Will Munro saying, I love it in my mirrors. Great banter. Johnny Six saying, well presented cars. They really are. They're great. They're great presented cars. It's a nice, simple livery. Looks really good. Honestly, it looks so good. Ben Anthony saying, a million times better than our cracked ice looking one. Was that your last one? Because I agree. Your last one was not as good as this one. This one is nice. Nice and simple. You know, and it's a credit to whoever designed it. It looks a lot better. I will say that. Actually, I just want to check. Does the GMK car have the same shapes on it, but just different colors? I think it does, yeah. Just from a designer's perspective at the moment, I think it actually would have been nice if the GMK car, instead of having the white rear end, had like you see how the regular Type N cars are black and white. If the black and white was flipped for the GMK cars, I reckon that would have looked really cool. Ben Anthony saying, shout out to Flash Graphics. Yeah, they've done well on both your cars. But yeah, I'd say if you took the original livery, flipped the black and white, and then gave it the GMK colours where the red and the blue is, the GMK car would have looked sick. Not that it doesn't look good now, but I reckon it would have looked even better. Just personally. But it'll be interesting to see how all these Taipan cars go in the top 6. Because their tyres are going to be really worn and they're going to be hurting at the moment. Johnny Six saying, a lot of great liveries in vets, to be honest. Well-presented group through all splits. It is... Honestly, the liveries are a lot better now in vets. I think it is such a well-presented set of cars throughout the field. You know, everyone's done a fantastic job on their liveries. So, you know, these Taipan cars look great. Then there's the GMK side of Taipan, looks really good. Brett Taylor for Valve, you know, that looks, you know, pretty nice. Oh, Dial he's under assault right now. I reckon those tyres are really hurting him at this moment in time. I think the Pecky's cars are really good, but Anthony I was sponsor choice. Okay, fair enough. The Pecky's cars, I think, actually look a lot better now. They look really nice. The Locked On car as well is really cool. It's a nice set of colours there. I mentioned it before, the Nova car is incredible with that Dayglow green. Of course, and then the fishy cars as well. I mean, you see them in nearly every single race series you watch if it involves supercars. Oh, that's a knock there from Griffiths to Duggan as they come through turn 3. And then the new SLS cars look great as well. We've mentioned that earlier in the season too. The new SLS cars look really, really nice. Scott Gamble saying Nova's good. Also, it is. Yeah, it looks really nice. Damien, I don't think he's with Century anymore because he doesn't have that KFC livery on his car. But speaking of liveries, there's the Infinity car going down the inside. Now, this Infinity livery, I can tell you, is Vets exclusive. Only the Vets drivers have this teal, white and black combination on their cars, and I think it actually looks really smart. Jack did a really good job on that livery. Love the Soldier On livery ERT train. Which one's the Soldier On one? Is that the SLS car? No? I don't even know. Yeah, Steve Murray saying, yeah, Nova and Fishy also have great liveries. They do. They're really recognisable. Of course, Old Mate and Sons, can't talk about vets without talking about them. These black-based Pangean cars are great. I prefer them over the white-based ones. These ones look really nice, especially the use of the personal colours. They look really good. The basic shadow racing cars, they look pretty nice. Really good for their sponsors on the side of the car as well. You recognise them out on track. That's Matt Monday, so that's Fishy, Michael Hayes. This Pace Syndicate car, I think, looks really cool. He's running a different livery than what he was earlier in the season, but I actually really like it. It looks really cool and really actually almost quite unique out there. Carton Peck, Goosey's Old Mate and Sons. That's a Shadow Racing car. That's Infinity. That's WK&P as well looks really nice. It's almost like the Walkinshaw cars of last season. Yeah. So Anita's now actually changed her colour to match Gary's colour. They both have the Buckland green, as it is now known, which I think is pretty cool. That's cool. They run the same colour on their car. Also, just shout out to Fishy for a moment. I really, really love Jason Chin's white-based Fishy car. That looks sick, and it stands out really well too. It looks really, really good. And Reg James has the black and green. It's now changed. Used to be the green base. Okay, saying Scorpion Esports merged with Pace Syndicate. Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that actually. Daniel Sheriffs as well in his Old Mate and Sons car, and then Richard Barella out there in the WK&P Sports car as well. Okay, yeah, all right. So Scorpion Esports / Pace Syndicate. Yeah, which was Michael Hayes. Yeah, but it's a really nice livery. Really, really good. So yeah, it's enough livery talk for now, I think. We'll get back to the racing, although look at the gap that Hanson's got over his teammates, 5.7 seconds. Of course, as mentioned, provisional first should be Todd Duggan in P10, but he is still stuck in the traffic at the moment. So we'll sit with this battle for right now. Because we want to be able to see how well Doug can get up the field. Mark Dial's really dropped off now, so I reckon his tyres are just absolutely cooked by this stage. I mean, he must be lack of grip to drop this many spots at the moment. So they come down now towards Dandenong Road. 9 laps to go of Sandown in round 7 of season 15. Will the top 9 cars have to pit again, or will they make it home? Fuel and tyres is the question. Can their fuel burn get them home, and will their tyres withstand the assault that has been put on them around Sandown here tonight? Todd is playing the patient game right now. Maybe he believes these guys will need to pit again. Let's check out Jeremy Bush right now. Mark out and saying yes, still saving tyres. Starting to hurt. That's right, Mark. Oh well, that I mean you've pretty much just confirmed what I was not predicting, but sort of surmising there. Yeah, I mean. Your fuel, you'd have to be saving a heap right now. I'm sure your tyres are really feeling it. That's why I'm questioning if you're going to have to come in or not, and who is actually going to win this race, because it is up in the air at the moment on whether, as I mentioned, the top 9 need to come in. If the top 9 come in, Duggan will take the lead ahead of Griffiths and Grumley. And Grumley's back in the fight, actually. I should mention that. Grumley's now back up in provisional P3, we could claim. As I think Brett Taylor's coming. So Brett Taylor jumps in. So this might actually be the telltale sign that now the top 8 will need to pit again, whether it's fuel or whether it's tyres. It's going to be interesting to see the different strategies that come into play now around this circuit. A couple of cars in behind as well. There's Boardman, there's Cross, Buckland, Latham, and I believe that's Will Munro just in behind as well. That's a big shut into the wall, and that's Grumley. So Grumley, after the big old comeback, has been put into the wall once again. He's got the lap traffic just ahead of him there. He had a massive comeback to get into provisional P3. But what's going to happen? Comes over the curb, down through Dandenong Road. Can he hold it all together here? The leader has crossed the line, so we are now on lap 51. So look at Grumley. He's trying to just get back through now, trying to get back up towards the front of the field. Well, Munro lets him by as they come down to turn 1, although he's not letting him go just yet. So they come into turn 1. Just keep an eye, see if Grumley's car is just hurting at the moment from that front end impact into the wall. Oh, that's a big spin for Will Munro in behind into the wall. Oh, and he collects. I think that was Michael Hayes that was involved. This could be another safety car, which really spices things up. He's trying to get the car turned around. Doesn't want to impede on anybody, of course. So McMillan, no, not McMillan. So where's Hayes? There's Hayes just trundling down the back straight. Will he get back to the pits or will he have to pull over? That was a questionable rejoin for sure, but I have to wonder, I don't know if he just didn't look or if he had a bit of red mist about him after having a bit of an unfortunate race. He has towed back to pits. I don't know if he was actually given permission for that one, so we might see a disqualification coming. Wow, that is a tough end for Michael Hayes. But we have to go back up the front, because if Hansen is able to save the fuel over the next couple of laps, he could be on for a win. Mick Clifton's saying, can they make it now? I don't know. If there's a safety car, it's probably just more worth them actually coming into the pits and getting the fuel, because I don't even know if they could actually save enough under the safety car. Their tyres would be really hurt. Duggan has much fresher tyres than them. He's going to really be able to push off a restart. We're 5 laps from the end. We're not going to get another safety car. Scott Gamble saying old mate's engine has blown. Was that Michael Hayes' engine that blew? Because he's in the pits. And I know that Will's engine probably did blow. Yeah, so Steve Murray saying under 5 laps to the end, no safety car. So the question is now, with under 5 laps to go, can the top 7 cars make it home on fuel? Will Munro saying fight or flight kicked in and towed without permission, end of his race. Happens to the best of us, of course. The rejoin was a bit questionable, but you know, you live and you learn, and hopefully some improvements can be made to the racecraft a little bit in future events. So the narrative at play, as we have mentioned, is top 7 cars now are screaming for new rubber and possibly screaming for more fuel if they haven't saved enough. Todd Duggan is in the prime position to take first place if this occurs. He pitted on lap 14. He can make it home on his fuel. He can make it home on his tyres, although his tyres will be screaming. I didn't want to openly say that it was your fault, William, but it was your fault. Shouldn't have done it. Very bad, boy. You're getting put in the naughty corner. But, so, Hanson, Houghton, Atkins, Healy, Weston, Martin, Dial all could need to pit for fuel or tyres. Duggan's there. He can make it home. He pitted on lap 14. Remember, critical lap was lap 12. So, it's if there's been enough safety cars that these guys have been able to save enough fuel and whether they can survive on these tyres. That is going to be the question. Could Marty Hansen be on for what I assume, as I don't know if it's true or not, could be on for a first-time victory in Vets? Mark Dial's in the pits. So that's telltale. Remember, might have needed to pit again on the fuel and the tyres. He was a part of that group. So Dial's in. There's 5 Taipan cars left in the top 10. Plus Todd Martin, Jeremy Bush. Robbie Griffiths has now jumped some spots, actually. I've just noticed this. He's now jumped up ahead of Todd Duggan. So Robbie Griffiths could be on here for something special if something happens to these front guys. We're 2.5 laps from the end. Hansen will come down to Dandenong Road. Will he pit this lap, or will he go on to lap 56? Has he saved enough to get to the checkered flag after stopping on lap 9 of this race? He comes on to lap 56. He leads them on. Houghton stays out. Atkins stays out. Healy stays out. Weston stays out. Martin also stays out. So, okay, this is Marty's 147th vet start and hasn't won a race yet. Okay. Mick Clifton, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's like they are playing craps right now. They are rolling the dice on this strategy play. And the cards are stacked against them right now. They've got to be driving on the smell of an oily rag and about as much rubber as a used rubber right now. I know it's bad to say. About as much rubber as a school eraser does after a whole year of using it. They have got absolutely nothing left. Scott Weston, you've also taken the words out of my mouth. Can Mr. Hansen get this car home? I know, it was bad. It was a bad joke, Steve. I know. I'm sorry. Lap 57. White flag lap. Can they get home on the fuel that's left? They're basically on rims right now. There's got to be no grip left in those tires. They have gone just about 50 laps on a tank of fuel and 50 laps on a set of tires. I know it's just under that, but it sounds better to say 50 laps. He's got a few corners to go. Can it make it? Down through Dandenong Road. 3 corners to go until Marty Hansen takes his first victory. He makes it round. It looks good on the straight and narrow. Marty Hansen takes his very first victory of the smell of an oily rag in Kumho Tyres V8 Veterans. Houghton finishes P2, Atkins P3. It's a Taipan Esports top 5 in this race. A massive effort goes out to them and the strategists, and a massive effort goes out to them just as drivers in general to get home on the lack of grip that they would have had and the lack of fuel. It'll be interesting to see if Marty can actually make it home to the pits on the in lap now, or if he doesn't even have enough fuel. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look at them all. They're going to do their little photo finish, get their nice photo done for their team. It was an incredible performance for them. We'll have to see if any of them are in the Discord. I don't even know if they are or not. Mark Houghton is in the split 3 green room. We'll wait for Marty. We'll wait for the Martys to get in there as well. Marty Hansen and Marty Atkins, whether they're here to have a chat or not. Unbelievable, though. What a race. What an ending. I mean, just an incredible strategy play from those guys. The effort that they would have had to put in to save that much fuel and to mitigate those tires is unbelievable. My hat is off to them, and a round of applause, if we could have it, would be shown to that team right now, because I have not seen a better display of fuel saving and tyre strategy in my entire time of broadcasting races. So a massive hats off to them. So we will now bring up and go through the race results, and then we'll bring our podium in from the green room to have a chat to them. But as mentioned, it's a Taipan Esports top 5 here tonight. Marty Hansen takes his very first victory for V8 Veterans, just ahead of his teammate Mark Houghton and Marty Atkins in P3. Craig Healy and Scott Weston P4 and 5, from the GMK Logistics sides of the Taipan Garage. And then Todd Martin out for Quantum Pecky's Performance Racing will finish out a P6. Robbie Griffiths today finishes in P7 for Fishy Motorsports, and just behind him is Jeremy Bush. James Boardman managed to get up into P9 there for Infinity Motorsports, and then Todd Duggan for Nova Simsports makes up the top 10. Gary Buckland will finish this race in P11 here today, just ahead of his teammate Darren Goosey in P12. WKM Simsports driver Shannon McMillan finishes today in P13, just ahead of SLS Racing's Steve Grumley. Mark Peck finishes today's race in P15, with Ed Cullen just in behind in P16. P17 today goes to Jason McCartan, with Matthew Monday just in behind in P18. P19 today goes to Peter Latham, with Daniel Cross rounding out the top 20. Brett Taylor will finish today's race in P21, just ahead of Reg James from WKMP Simsports in P22. Jason Chin will finish today's race in P23, just ahead of Daniel Sheriffs. Richard Barella will finish this race in P25, with Mark Dial in P26. Just behind him in P27 for Infinity Motorsport, it is Robert Crow, just ahead of Pace Syndicate's Michael Hayes in P28. Then we have Will Munro in P29, who I believe was actually disqualified for towing without permission. And then Lorne McKee, Steve Lanyon, Mario Reali, Simon Farrington, Andrew Hoffman, and then Matt McMillan as well. So we will go up back to the top of the results, and we'll bring in our podium finishers, whoever are in there. It's only Mark Houghton, so that's all right. Mark Houghton, big congratulations to you, sir, on your P2 finish here today. A massive congratulations to Taipan Esports as well for finishing 5 out of 5, top 5 drivers in the top 5. And a big congratulations to your teammate Marty Hansen as well, finishing in P1.
Yeah, thanks, Hamish. That was absolutely awesome. Great call from Scotty Weston, our strategist there. And then fuel saving the whole way, mate. I think we did 50 laps on the tyres and fuel at the end.
Yeah, it would have been very, very close to 50. So it was almost like Jamie Whincup at Bathurst-esque, going that long on your fuel and still making it to the end. I mean, it's, as I said, my hat goes off to all 5 of you guys for getting to the end on that strategy. I guess what was sort of was the main worry, will we make it on fuel, or was the worry these tyres might actually cause me to go off track and lose positions anyway, and it'll be all for nothing?
It was definitely a ball about the fuel. I think saving the fuel was just naturally saving the tyres there, so didn't feel too bad in the end on tyres. Yeah, it was all about the fuel, and I didn't feel safe until, probably 4 laps home, until home.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, yeah, I guess, I would assume you guys are all talking to each other during your races anyway, in the Discord. So, was it sort of just, was it in the strategy at the start to come in around lap 8, lap 9, or was it Scotty's call to say, come in now, we can make it home if they're safety cars?
Yeah, just lucky call on the safety car, especially for me, after my incident, lap 1. Just as I was coming into the pits, the first safety car was called. So I got to top up fuel, new tyres, fast repair, get back out. And then Scotty's call to come in under the second safety car, lap 8, lap 9. Huge call, but just saving fuel from there, and it worked out great for us.
I mean, you could almost claim that your win last season at Road America was maybe a little bit of luck, but also a lot of skill to actually make your way through the field. You guys, or all 5 of you, did it today to get up into the top 5. A big congratulations to you and your team, mate. Let us know who's out there supporting you and out there supporting all ventures in Taipan Esports.
Right, we sponsors list here first. Big thank you to Blacktown Mazda, Blacktown City GMW Haval, Too Easy Finance, Simrigs, Sideways Photography, GMK Logistics, Box and Lock Self Storage. And I'd like to personally thank the team. Myself wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Huge congratulations to Marty on his first win. Gapped us at the end there. Don't know how he was doing on the fuel. I think he had one extra lap fuel than us guys. Marty Atkins behind me should have done me. He should have had that position, and if anyone else, he probably would have taken it. So thank you very much, Marty.
Oh, mate, a very good job to all of you guys. Massive congratulations on your P2. Big congrats to Marty on his P3 and to Marty Hansen as well on his P1. Thank you for joining me and having a chat with me today, mate, and representing your team as well and letting me know how that race went for you guys today.
No worries. Thanks. Yeah, the other guys couldn't make it, unfortunately.
That's all right,
But
mate.
yeah, happy to come in and have a chat. Thanks for the broadcast, Hamish. Love your work.
Thanks,
As always, great broadcast.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Well, hopefully in the coming rounds, we might be able to talk to you again. If you can get on the podium once again. I mean, I know you got some pace about you. You had a couple of wins last season, and hopefully you can do it again.
Fingers crossed, mate. I'll love to talk to you again.
No worries, mate. Cheers. Well, very, very good to talk to Marty Hansen there. Oh, Marty Atkins saying he can't get into the green room. All right. Marty, just go into any of the other chats and I'll drag you in and I'll have a chat to you, all right? Just quickly. So go into any of the other chats in the Discord and I'll drag you in. Hang on. Here we go. Oh, fucking. Marty Atkins. Well, the week that we finally get your livery sorted out, mate, you managed to finish P3. How was that one for you?
Nerve-wracking, mate. A bit nerve-wracking. Yeah, the good pit strategy definitely put us in the right spot. We knew we could save fuel, so yeah, no, it was a good race.
Well, mate, you done very, very well out there today. I mean, obviously, I already said to Mark the big congratulations to you guys, and he was already give us the spiel on your team as well. But I mean, after all this time of running an Erebus livery that turned out to be my problem because I didn't actually delete all the livery files out of my file explorer, the week that we get it fixed, you know, you're up there on the podium and you get to finally have a chat with me. I mean, it was a big effort from all of you guys, a big effort from you yourself. I mean, you've been up there throughout the season anyway. You know, how does it feel to finally get it done and get on that podium?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's a lot of help from the team. I mean, I haven't raced competitively for a lot of years now, and like I said before, a lot of me stuff I'm using is old, and yeah, so to get up there and mix it with some of those guys up the front, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's really good.
Very good, mate. Well, you know, let us know who's supporting you out there. I mean, I'm sure Mark won't mind if you don't shout out your sponsors since it was a Taipan top 3, but anyone you want to give a shout out to, mate.
He's already said them already.
Yeah. So,
all the guys in the team, they've been really good since going in there. I mean, I was just going to run by myself because, I knew I was a bit out of touch and haven't raced for a while, but they've been awesome, really good. So, and they've accepted me on the team, and anything you need, they're right there to help you out. So, yeah, and I've had, I must thank my partner Jackie. She's doing fuel numbers in the background while I was racing the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, she's done a good job.
Very good, mate. Well, big congratulations to you, and I guess, congratulations to your partner as well to finally have one of those little numbers crunches work out for you, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, just big congratulations to you. Finally great to have a chat to you on a podium finish, and hopefully we get to chat to you once again in the final couple of rounds.
Oh, that'd be good, mate. No worries.
All right,
excellent work. Keep it up. Thanks.
Thanks, mate. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that ends the race tonight. Of course, it was a Taipan affair. They finished in the top 5. It was a top 5 lockout for them. I mean, it was... What else can you say? But big congratulations to them as a team. big congratulations to Marty Hansen in P1, Mark Out in P2, Marty Atkins in P3. It was an incredible race. Great strategy play by them. Maybe there was a little bit of luck involved, but I think those guys did very well to finish in the top 3. Of course, if you're new to the Vets channel and you've never seen one of these broadcasts before, even if you're not watching it when it's live, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you're notified every time we go live. Friday nights with the Driver's Kitchen and normally Sunday nights for the Split 2 broadcast as well. This upcoming round is Daytona, which will be a night race. Nice long one as well. Round 8 of the Kumho Tyres V8 Veterans Season 15 here for Split 2. Tonight was round 7. It was Sandown. I've been your commentator, Hamish Munro. I look forward to seeing you, hopefully, back to our regular time slot of Sunday night here for V8 Veterans. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting the Vets. And hopefully you stick around. Good night.